Our question of the day is, what are the different ways that computers can process information? So we should probably define processing. And that's like the thinking work that computers do to turn the input into output. We already discussed what input is. That's the information you give to the computer. And the output is what it gives back to you, the information that it gives back. But it has to process and like kind of learn that information in some way. So one way we're going to do that is by demonstrating this with this app. So we're going to click on run so we can actually do it. It says choose your birthday. So in here, I'm going to click on April and I'm going to click on 4 because that's my birthday. It says find out if it's your birthday. You click and it says it was already your birthday this year. So what input does this app use? Well, it's taking the information that that you have, right? It's taking in what my birthday is, but it's also taking in what today is, right? So if I were to hit reset, it says choose your birthday. Why don't I put in today just to see what it does? So if I do November 14th, find out if it's your birthday. It's your birthday, yay! Right? So this is the output. It tells you what it is. And the way it does that is by using if then. And it's comparing. So it's comparing your birthday. So it's like, if your birthday is today's date, so it's taking in today's date as well. That's part of the input. So it needs to know that. So if it is today's date, then it will tell you happy birthday. If it's earlier than that, it will tell you already had your birthday. And if it's not, it says you won't have a birthday until later this year. So that's how it's using these things called if then. Right? If it does this, then it's that. It's called a conditional. So depending on the conditions that you put in, it will give you the information back. So that's how we go through this very first one right there. Now for this next one, it has a national park quiz. So try out this quiz about America's national parks. So let's click on run. It says start. What was the first national park? I'm going to say it's Yellowstone, and I was right. So it gives you information based on that. It gives you a little bonus information. So the input is which answer is chosen, and then the input is like the right answer. So that's also what it will know, right? It's going to know what the right answer is. And then either it's going to tell me I was right or I'm not right. So over here, I'll say Yellowstone. No, that wasn't right. It tells me which one it actually was. So what types of processing are needed for this one? Well, it needs to know which information is right here. So it's comparing. If you said this, then you are right. If you said this, then you are wrong, right? So that's our if-then conditional on that thing. And we can keep on going until we get to the end. Which one gets the most visitors? I'm going to say Great Smoky Mountains. Good. And then last one, the largest tree in the world. I know that one. I've been there. It's Sequoia. General Sherman tree, of course. All right. So you can click on play again and start all over again. So that's the if-then conditional for that one. Click on finish. I can go to another sample one. There's a whole bunch of different versions you could do here. How many countries are bigger than Alaska? Well, our input is the question that the user chose. So I can just use this and I can click on any one of these. And then also, whoever created this needed to put in the answers that go along with it. So that's the other input. And then the output, it's telling me the number of countries that meet that requirement. So how many countries have won the World Cup? Well, it'll tell me that it's 11. All right, so it needs to count the information in this one, and it needs to find a match, right? So it needs to count, and then it has to find a match about what it's actually showing me right there. Right? So once I say this, it'll count all the different numbers that are in there. On this way, my famous birthday. So enter your birthday. So I will say my birthday is April 4th, 1988. Oh, doesn't tell me that. So I'll say 1998, even though I was born 10 years early. Let's find a writer. Okay, you were born on a Saturday, just like Margaret Atwood. So if I was born 10 years later, that's what it would be right there. So the output is the author born, the input is a user's birthday, and then it has a calendar of days as well as a list of authors, which is stored on the app right over here. So out of all these ones, out of the 4 types of processing that you learned about, pick one and explain how it can be used to change the input into the output. So if we do finding a match, it's going to find a match in the database of my birthday was April 4th, so they find another author that was April 4th. And if I choose that one, then they tell me what it was. All right, on this one, You can click here, and then every time I click on there, I can decorate my notebook. If you notice, if you click too close to it, it won't let you do it. So it says which icon the user clicked. So that's our input right over here. And then where it is, that's the input as well. And then the output is change the color of the icons at the bottom. So, I didn't even realize if I just keep clicking, I can also change it to make it decorate a little bit more. Right, so that's the outputs. And there you go. So if I click this, it turns yellow, right? And if I click this once, it turns yellow. If I click it twice, it's even more yellow. If I click this, it turns green. There you go. Which finger is the fastest? Put one finger on the S key, the other one on the K, and then we just keep going as fast as 8 times. So I just keep clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking and clicking. And every single time I press the S key, it notches that. Every single time I press the K key, it'll do that. And it will say, okay, K is winning by 1 over here. If I click on the S one more time, it's a tie. Right? So it's counting, but it's also saying if it's a tie, if these are equal, then it will say it's a tie. If I have any more, if S is larger than K, then it will say that S is winning like that. So it's comparing as well. There's a lot of things that's going on in this one. So part of the reason we're getting exposed to all of these apps is so that when you start thinking about perhaps an app that you're interested in developing, then these are some of the types of things that you can do. These are all very simple, and you want to start by thinking simple. So it says in this app, you try to guess the computer's number. So can you guess it? I'm thinking of a number between 1 to 100. Can you guess it? My guess is 47. It's one of my favorite numbers because it's very random. Too high. Oh boy. So what I might do is I might kind of try to cut it in half a little bit. Let's go to like 23. Still too high. Okay, now I can go down to, let's go to 12. Too high. Now I'm going to go down to 6. Too low. And then I'll go to 9. Oh, I was so close. 1 off. So the number was 10, right? The outputs are the number. All I'm doing is telling what number it is. But the outputs are the number of tries I have left, if it's too high or too low, if it's right or not, and if I'm out of tries right over here. Right, so this is definitely counting, but if it's this many tries, then it tells you this. These are all the information that it needs to tell us. Okay, and last one, where should I live? This app gives you advice on where to live based on your answers to a few questions. So we got to start this one. Where should I live? What do you like to do for fun? I think I like to go to sports games. That's fun. All these things are fun. Oh, actually, I can click on multiple ones. So there you go. I like all of the, I really like them all. So I'm going to click on all of them. How do I like to get around? I really like to drive the most. Walking's fun too. What animals am I okay with? Oh, interesting. Ooh, definitely not rat. Bear, I could deal with a bear. I could deal with a raccoon. Coyotes are scary though. What food do I like? Oh, I definitely like home-cooked meals the most, but I like to try new restaurants and regular restaurants. I'm not really big on doing too much delivery, actually. I should live in the suburbs, and I do. Look at that. So it gives over here at the end, how exciting is this? It tells you like the percentage of what would be most appropriate for me. Notice it's only by a little bit. So it's interesting how they do this pie chart right over here. So it gives it's all the input right over here, all the different clicks that I give it, and then it outputs the advice on where I should live. And if you click on this, there's enough of those answers, it puts that. So it probably puts like a number, right? And you can see the numbers right over here, 18, 13, right? In each category, And if you add up enough, then it goes into that one. It tells you what to do. So this is how we get through all these different things. And remember, processing, right? There's different types of processing. We have if-then statements, we count, you can find a match between something, and you can compare two different numbers right over there. So again, I want you to start thinking of, if you were to come up with an app, what would that app be? And how can you use any one of these things right over here? A lot of times comparing between two things is like one of the simplest things right there, but it can be fun too, right? So I think this is the end of this statement right over here. So just to remember about processing. Processing is essentially the thinking work that computers do, and it changes this input into output. And then the processing is being done behind the scenes right over here. So that's it for this lesson right there. Thanks for